This is the Edible Landscape Project. It's our teaching garden, and we bring groups up here. There's more mistakes made in this garden than there have been in any garden I've ever been in, which is great if you're a student. We were on Genie's Two Bay Garden Trail this year, so we had people in an open day and we used the signage for that, which is great because people don't know what they're looking at, but really help them to see what they're looking at. So basically, it's the agroforestry methodology used here. We dug this out about 5 years ago. As somebody said, every washing machine in Westport was in this general area. We added a load of manure, we added a load of organic matter, we covered it up and we started planting. So literally we put in the trees first, so it's teaching people about we use that 7-layer but probably a 4-layered method where you have, first of all we put in the shelter belt actually, which is a permaculture hedge there, probably a bit close but it's fine because it was very exposed. And then we put in the fruit trees and then planted beneath the fruit trees. So it's a really good way, I bring the horticulture students, they'll be up here next week, of seeing the difference between the two. It's very much hands-off. It's very much low maintenance. There's no chemicals used. And everybody who grows, or everyone I know, they say, yeah, I want to grow some food, but I don't have time to spend the whole day out in the garden. So this way we encourage people to grow a bit of food, not use chemicals, and at the same time they have their food. So that whole notion of a little bit of food security, you grow a bit, you take the pressure off the system. We can't be, 95% of the apples we eat in this country come in from overseas. I mean, that is ridiculous. You tell that to small kids and they go, why don't we have an orchard out in our back garden? So really just this is an education garden, bringing the notion of food that has kind of bypassed us all because we've all got so prosperous now, and bringing it back into people's focus really. This year we're going to put in some brassicas. We're going to put in my own garden at home, I've brassicas, purple sprouting broccoli popping up, I've cabbages popping up. Again, that notion that everything doesn't have to be in a bed. It could be part of your landscape, it can be part of your borders, it can be part of your entire garden. So it's informal, but it can be very productive. Right now it's just herbs. And as I said, we use a 2 metre by 2 metre space with the kids then in the schools to teach them about food security. And we were in about 15 schools in Mayo and Sligo. So for people who have never grown before, this is way off the planet for them. They just don't understand how you could grow like this and actually eat the food out of this garden. And it's super that it's beside the community garden because they see the difference between the growing in boxes and this. That's it, folks. That's pretty much. Have you any thoughts? If any advice would be more than welcome.
What's growing in here?
Well, we've got the fruit tree layer, then the next layer down is the currants, and then basically what we have is we have herbs. We have lots of herbs. We've mints, we've pineapple mint, we've peppermint, we have lemon balm has taken over. We have sweet pea here. We put the 2 beds in there this summer to stop people just walking over. And we put in the sunflowers, but it's really for biodiversity at the moment. We have blueberries in there hidden away, but every herb you can think of.
We've got rhubarb.
We have rhubarb, which was really interesting because we had a 2-year-old up here. The small kids are coming up here on a Tuesday morning, and the little 2-year-old had a little bucket and she was putting all her lemon balm, and I was saying to the kids, don't eat the stuff, just smell it. Try to get people to smell. And she started taking rhubarb leaves from over there we had planted, and that made me think only that her mother is a chef and knew that the rhubarb leaves are poisonous. So all of these things factor in, We put sea buckthorn in because we thought, wow, what an amazing hedgerow to have here. The reek is over there, so there was a lot of wind coming from that distance. We literally put in 3 little slips. They have grown into this massive hedge. It is now coming up all over the place. So the mistakes that we've made, but again, it's great as a teaching garden to show people all the mistakes that we've made. And the classes love coming down here and literally pottering around for an afternoon, learning. Signage is really necessary. One of our students last year made these, and people need to see what they're looking at, and then they can understand. So it's just all about education. The people that come into our classroom that don't realise that you actually don't need chemicals to grow food blows me away, So there's little things like that. If we can get that across to people in the year that they're in with us, well, then that's just magic.
Would you grow your own beans and peas out here as well?
Did we grow some? the sweet pea, that's the community garden as well. So that's Gemma's going to talk to you about that. So that's a different.
Oh yeah, right. That was it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So we're trying to get people, and a lot of people actually were afraid of this, and that we're trying to slowly but surely get them to come in and not be afraid of it, and just sure if they take up the lemon balm or the chamomile or whatever is here, it doesn't matter, more will grow back. But I think it's that fear, and I had that fear, so I recognise it, that you're not sure what things are in a garden field. I'm not an expert, I can't do anything, but you can just